MJF 2016 is our 21st festival, and as we come of age, we're inviting you to rethink jazz, this most elusive of genres. But jazz isn't just about thinking, it's also about listening, feeling and enjoying. And the MJF programme is packed with the new, the adventurous and the surprising. But it's also the place where you can have fun with friends at a host of different venues and witness the fun on stage as our festival artists create music in the moment. Take this guy for instance. Behind the gold beard trickling with water lies one of France's larger-than-life characters, wild and raw, joyful and urgent. This is Thomas DePorquery. He and his band Supersonic play the music of Sun Ra. And if that's all new to you, don't worry, just fasten your seatbelt and hold on tight as they whisk you along on a short ride in a fast machine that appeals to the teenage, the middle age and the space age. Ben Cottrell is a young Mancunian jazz composer who's creating a new suite of music for MJF. And those of you that experienced the 60s, that's the decade, not the temperature range, may have enjoyed the Stan Getz album Focus. It pitched jazz against strings, which is just what Ben has in store for us. But substitute Stan's sax for a trumpet, double up the bass and drums and throw in some 21st century electronic noises on, a new seeing is the resultant vision. New, boundary-pushing music from Mancunian artists, only at MJF. From concert hall to church, St Anne's is one of our most cherished venues. Wonderful architecture, a fabulous acoustic and a booming welcome from the rector await your visits here, one of which must surely be to revel in the company of the Atom String Quartet. And this is the first visit to the UK for these Polish virtuosi, who rehear chamber music, turning it on its head with lively hoedowns and swinging hard bop. And it's not every year we're granted permission to get our jazz hands on the church organ, but approval has been granted from on high for this one-off recital of music and film, originally born from wonky church organs in the remote Suffolk countryside. Take a pew as Maestro Kit Downs pulls out all his stops and Tom Challenger's sax fills the late evening air with mesmerising tones, accompanied by a haunting film depicting the evocative East Anglian landscape. It's a short stroll across town to the captivating Portico Library, where we celebrate Manchester's year as the European City of Science, as Dr. Graham Wilson ponders what happens in our brain when we improvise, tracing the journey from neurons to notes and back again. And holding up his hypotheses for scrutiny will be two masters of improvisation, keyboard player Adam Fairhall and multi-instrumentalist Tom Ward, to translate his thoughts into music. Join us for stimulating discussion, unpredictable music and a glass of wine, and don't believe a word of what they say about its effect on brain cells. Improvisation, that is, not wine. Now, whilst we're busy observing noise in libraries, the performance space in Central Library hosts some of the hottest and loudest up-and-coming bands. So here you can hear Entropy and Theon Cross. Secure tickets early though. Events here last year were, like the library itself, overbooked. And just across the road you can pop in for jazz afternoon tea at the Midland, where fruited scones and muted tones are the order of the day. Do check availability first though, as these events sell out in advance. And afterwards, don't go straight home, go straight to home, where a series of classic jazz feature films are being screened throughout the festival. And for those who can't bear to go home at the end of a festival day, the classic late-night jazz club vibe at Matt and Fred's will keep you up until the early hours with bands each and every night at this Northern Quarter jewel. And this is the irresistibly funky Portmanteau. And no festival walkabout would be complete without a visit to Band on the Wall, the home of great live music, whose lineup this year boasts Mexican drummer Antonio Sanchez, perhaps best known for his Golden Globe-nominated soundtrack to the film Birdman. For many, Festival Square is the heart of the MJF experience, where you can hang out with friends and soak up the atmosphere. funky brass bands return with their Sunlight Serenading. There's the new MGF Film Hut, screening Anthony Barkworth Knight's short films and musicians. And there are plenty of free gigs on offer, including the return of Jazz North's Northern Line Showcase, a marathon of 10 bands in 10 hours. And of course there's the Festival Pavilion, home to gigs from noon till night, from solo artists to big bands. Here are just a few. Empirical have won a MOBO award for their energetic urban style of acoustic jazz, and MGF's their only northern date. Our visiting Spanish artists are loved by MGF audiences. As well as the mesmerising Niño de Elche, we debut the provocative cabaret jazz of De La Purissima. Olivia Moore premieres her intriguing new lineup of violin, cello, sitar and the beatboxer Jason Singh. MGF Introduces brings young, undiscovered talent into the spotlight. New BBC Young Jazz Musician of the Year Alexandra Ridout plays her first major date. And we hand over the stage to Leeds College of Music, celebrating their 50 years with two of the Conservatoire's large ensembles. Our closing night celebrations this year are sure to satisfy curious minds and dancing feet with the spectacular Perhaps contraption, a wonderfully Heath Robinson-like concoction of brass band, choir, art pop and jazz, and the Abstract Orchestra, a 100% real big band with a front line of hip-hop MCs. And finally, I love Lauren Kinsella's spine-tingling voice, and Snow Poet brings her songwriting with Chris Hyson to life as they remix poetry, subtle electronics, ambient sounds and jazz. It'll be a magical close to this year's festival. Check out these and more at manchesterjazz.com and join me to celebrate our surprising and memorable world of music at MGF 2016.